As you see here, as of now, we have discussed about 3 stages only: code, build, deploy. If you see, I have added one more stage called storage. Since you are clear about code, build, deploy, I have added one more stage called storage, and we will see what it does. So whatever the new stage I am going to add in the DevOps flow, those are all called additional, I can say additional things only. Those things are not mandatory, but they will facilitate some of the features. So let's see stage by stage. In the code stage, we have any kind of code we develop. And in the build stage, we do build, and those are the inputs from code will be converted as packages like jar, var, exer, rar, zip, or pdb, anything. But in the storage, all these files will be stored. That is called the storage place. That is called storage section. So all these packages or exe files or binaries or artifacts which are produced in the build stage will be stored in the storage section. It is not mandatory to store here, but it will give you an option to store all of the versions if you require. And after that, you can go for other stage deploy. So what is the additional benefit of doing the storage means? You can build any kind of version, either 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Likewise, you can have multiple versions of your software. So you can store all the versions in one place, and you can choose which one to deploy into the respective environment. That is the main advantage this storage service will provide to you. For example, in the QA, you wanted to deploy the latest version, but in the pre-prod, you wanted to deploy some of the versions which are not latest. So in that way, you can differentiate and pick the versions from storage servers and deploy to deployment stage. That is the major advantage. And I call it a storage servers. Some people call it as repository managers. Some say software component managers. Whatever we call, those will provide features like storing the artifacts. And the examples of the storage servers are Sonatype Nexus, JFrog, Artifactory. These are the major two storage servers or repository managers which industry is using currently. You can choose any one of these two. Both provides almost same functionality, and both companies are competitive. So for our understanding and for our practice, we'll go with the Nexus. And in the Nexus repository manager, we have two types. One is professional one, another one is OSS. Professional one are also having 2.x version, 3.x version. OSS also having 2x, 3x versions. Professional needs license, and it is very relevant for larger enterprise and organizations. And OSS one can be freely used, like you and me and everyone can use, and it has some limited functionalities only. So to understand and to get started, we will start with the OSS 2x version. Once you are very much familiar with this thing, it's not big headache to start with other versions. And I wanted to give some introduction about Nexus repository. Once you get some introduction about this thing, then we can easily start. So in the Nexus, it will have 4 types of repositories. One is proxy, another one is hosted, another one is virtual repository, fourth one is group repository. You can see I already given short description about each repository. If you remember, I was discussing about proxy repository yesterday. Whenever we build some artifacts, those artifacts can be stored in the Nexus repository. That is one way. And sometimes when Maven or Apache Ant trying to do its build, it will not be able to download anything from internet. In that such cases, This Nexus repository will be used as proxy. Hosted repository. Hosted means it in turn has a release and snapshot kind of repositories, but mainly used to store our artifacts which are generated from the build stage. And third one is virtual repository. Virtual repository concept you can ignore. Basically, we don't use it much. Group repository. To combine couple of repositories to use this concept. For example, to combine all the public repositories, they will call this repository group repository. Now, this is the procedure how to download Nexus repository manager to OSS, and how to download, how to install it, and how to start. Just follow these instructions and then you will be able to install the Nexus. Yeah, I will show you now how we can do that. So navigate to this URL. Here you can see Sonatype Repository Manager Pro. Ignore Pro, go for OSS. OSS Windows, you can download this one. In my thing, I already downloaded it, the same version, 2.14. Once you download, you will get that. 2.14 version I have downloaded. I will navigate to Nexus until bin section. I can see Nexus is the Windows batch file. It is ready for start. But to start Nexus, you need command prompt. That too, it should be opened with admin privileges. So open the command prompt as an administrator. Once you open the command prompt in administrator mode, copy the path in the browser and navigate to this. Yes, I came to the location where the Nexus bat file is available. Now I will install the Nexus and I will start the Nexus. If you simply type Nexus, you will see what are the available commands for Nexus. I'm installing Nexus now. If you see, Nexus is installed very quickly. Now I will start Nexus. I typed the command Nexus start. It is now starting the service. I think it will take a couple of seconds. Meanwhile, I will navigate to browser and type Nexus URL. 8081 is the default port number for Nexus. It is still
also it is the same one, right?
I didn't get that. What is the question?
The port number for the Tomcat server also is the same, right? 8081.
No, Tomcat is 8080. Nexus is 8081. Yeah, it is started now. Nexus is started. If you say Nexus is started, now log in and it will have the default password for Nexus is admin and admin123. It is the default credentials. So now you are seeing Nexus Repository Manager user interface. In the left hand section, we have all the menu options. In the right hand section top corner, we have login button. And in the middle, there is search button. You can search whatever the artifact or whatever the software component which you have already stored in the Nexus. And in this first menu, we have repositories. So if you click on the repositories, you will see the list of repositories. Repository means where you can store something or you can download something from that. And in the same way, the security, administration, and help tabs are there. Those two tabs are useful for the administration section. But since you already logged in as admin, that is why you are able to see security and administration. But if you don't have any admin access, then you will not be able to see security and administration, and you will be able to only see repositories section. Now we have Nexus repository installed, and if you see the first one, group repository, the type you can see group, the name is public repositories. So this guy in the configuration, he put couple of repositories. You can see in the left side, couple of repositories as a group. These are all the group repositories which are configured. That's why it is called as group repositories. Second one is hosted. Hosted means, as I told you, we will store something in this hosted repository. This is third party dimension. That means what are the artifacts which we develop, just like yesterday we developed some jar files, we can place it here. See, this is the proxy repository for Apache snapshots. That means if you wanted to download anything from Apache, this is the actual Apache internet URL, and this guy already proxied it. For example, if you are working in a banking domain, you will not be able to download any artifacts from internet. In such cases, they will use these proxy repositories and download. They will put Nexus as the URL for downloading, and it will in turn take the URL of Apache and this Maven. So this is also proxy repository configured to download Maven packages from internet. Ignore about virtual repository, and there are other two types, and important one are releases and snapshots. This is the main concept you need to understand in Nexus. Releases is a one type of repository. Snapshot is another type of repository. Both are hosted only. But what is the difference and why we need to? If you see, these two are Maven 2 type. That means these two support for Java type of technology. So let's see about snapshot first. Snapshot is nothing but whatever the code you have developed in the using Maven. When you do build, when you do Maven package, it creates some of the war file, and the war file having the name of snapshot. That means it is not the final version. It is some copy, and it's not ready for production. So basically, it is a testing copy. Yesterday, when we did Maven package, we have created one jar file and one war file. So since that is a snapshot copy, that is still testing version, we can put that testing version in this snapshot repository. And once we are very sure about the snapshot repository, and once we are very sure that that snapshot file, war file, is working properly, then we upload it to the release repository. Release means it is the proper version, properly tested version, and ready for deployment to the production. So that is the major difference between release and snapshot. And snapshot, am I repeating again? Snapshot means it is a test copy and not ready for production. So all the test copies with the timestamps can be stored in this snapshot repository. Releases means that test copy is properly tested, validated, and we can move that to production. That is why they keep it in the release type of repository. And I'll pause here and see if you have any questions. So now let's see how we can upload an artifact to Nexus repository. So I have chosen third-party repository because it is also hosted one. Or you can create a new one hosted and you can upload there. So you can see artifact upload section here. From here, you click here and select in the drop down from GAV parameters. So GAV parameter means, as I told you yesterday, that means it's a naming convention. Whatever the name which we provide here, it will be labeled for the artifact which we upload. For example, I give some name. So each dot represent one folder structure. You will be able to understand that once you upload it. Version I randomly give as 1.0. Packaging I give var because yesterday we have done that var file, and this is the var file yesterday we have developed. And click on artifact and upload it. So artifact upload finished successfully. So even if you delete those things from your local machine, it will even stay in the Nexus repository. So these Nexus repositories will be managed by admins. So you will not have any access to delete the artifacts from the Nexus backend. If you want to download, you can download. See in the browse index, we are able to see the folder structure and the var file which we have uploaded. So as I told you, each dot represents a folder structure. That is why as per new tech came 3 folders. And this is the artifact name, that is a var file, it came as a folder name. 1.0 also came as a folder name, and as a combination of artifact name and version name, the will come as file name. This is the index, but you can see storage also. If you refresh, it will come. In the storage, see, apart from var 1.0 var, huge list of other files came up. These are all the metadata files which are required to download and upload using other tools. For example, today we have uploaded using manual way. But if you wanted to upload the same artifact using Maven or any other build tool, then this format is required. And this format will be readable for the build tools. So now we will see how to upload an artifact using Maven. The same Maven yesterday which we have used, we will use that Maven for uploading an artifact to this repository. Now I will open the Maven-var which I have cloned yesterday, and we already have target folder generated, and in this location I will open command prompt and keep it ready. I will minimize that, but before doing this process we need to do 2 modifications. What are those modifications means? Let me show you in the slide. To upload any artifact to the snapshot repo, first you need to make an entry in the pom.xml. I told you for Maven there are 2 important files are required. One is pom.xml and another one is settings.xml. In the pom.xml you need to make this entry. Once you are done with this entry, in the settings.xml you need to make this entry. And the third step, you just need to run the Maven deploy command. So let me run these things one by one. Now I will be navigating to the pom.xml. In the pom.xml, just edit with Notepad++ and open. This is the pom.xml, and in this thing, it starts with a tag called project and ends with a tag called project. In this section, add a distribution management part. That is what I have added here. This is a distribution management means whenever we run Maven deploy, it will pick this URL and copy the var file to this Nexus repository. But we also need to configure the credentials. So since this is code, we don't provide credentials here. That is why we need settings.xml. So this distribution management content you simply copy and paste in your pom.xml like this. This is the first step is done. Now let's go to the second step. Second step means you navigate to the folder where you have downloaded your Apache Maven. Go to Apache Maven and go to config section and open the settings.xml with Notepad++. So if you scroll down in the Notepad settings.xml, you see servers tag is there. Under the servers tag, you add this section server tag where you provide username and password. This is safe to provide like this because it will be stored under the installation of Apache Maven. If you wanted to store the settings.xml in a different place, you can still do, but you need to point this location. Now, in the pom.xml, we have mentioned nexus-snapshot. This is the reference for settings.xml nexus-snapshot. If these two IDs matches only, then only it will pick the credentials from this location. So you make sure these two ID names are matching. Okay. Now our two prerequisites are satisfied, and once we run the Maven deploy, it will deploy the package to Nexus. Let's see how it will. So in the command prompt where I have maven-var, I will run mvn space deploy. But before deploy, if you already did package, that is fine. If not, you can run package again, so that it will create the var file. Post var file creation, you can run maven deploy. Now it will copy the created var file to Nexus. You can see that process is happening. It requires some Maven deploy plugin, and it downloaded during the runtime, and the build is successful. That means it is uploaded this var file to Nexus. You can see the status uploading to Nexus snapshots. That means the configuration is correct, and it is uploaded the snapshot to snapshot repository. Let's refresh and see. Yeah, we can see the snapshots. We have this file. So the folder structure and artifact name, version name, and the file name, everything came automatically. How? Because in the pom.xml, whatever the DAV parameters which you have mentioned, those things will come as it is. So this is group name, artifact name, version name. So these are the GAV